Y'all are sleeping on Nami. Nami's strength is getting slept on. What's going on, everybody? In this video, we're talking about Nami and just exactly how strong Nami is, and we're gonna be breaking down her battles and her physical strength and all her attacks and how strong she actually is currently from what we've been showcased. Because I've seen a lot of people downplay Nami's strength. In particular, I think a lot of people recognize her attack ability. I also think a lot of people just automatically designate her to a glass cannon, and I don't think that's fair because, you know, she's been through the ringer. She's been through a lot of battles. First off, Nami's been living this pirate life for a long time. We saw her ability to fight right away, even when she was fighting against like the crew of Buggy. She was able to use a bow staff really well, just at least to fight off the fodder and stuff. So she was able to hold her own. If we look at the Straw Hats, it's actually like Usopp and Chopper who really haven't been as battle tested before they go with the Straw Hats. Nami been through it. She was with the Arlong pirates for a long time and was fighting off pirates and stealing from pirates for a very long time. Now let's talk about her physical strength and durability, because I think that's a lot of people think that's her weak point, and she's really shown that she is very strong. So first off, in Water 7, when Luffy and Zoro were stuck, she was just jumping building to building to go to Luffy like she was the Black Panther. Like, the people of Water 7 were shocked. They're like, whoa, we thought she was just their navigator and just like this little girl. We didn't know she could just jump building to building like she was some kind of superhero like that. So it showed her physical capabilities were beyond that of a regular human, right? She could really jump really far, and she was running in the rain in heels. Girl was killing it. And as far as her physical strength, we've seen that actually a lot. It's subtle, but if you really look and notice, we've seen her strength really be showcased. In Fishman Island, one of the people working under Hody saw Nami and is like, oh, I found a weak one here, I'm gonna go sneak attack her, had a sword, was about to slice her down, and she just turns around, she's like, I'm not weak, I'm just a scaredy cat. Turns around with her clean attack and just blocks him with one hand. This is a fishman, 10 times the strength of a regular human, and Nami just blocked him like it was nothing. Now, before that I made this video, my original idea was actually current Nami versus Arlong, and then I actually thought about it. And Nami will wax Arlong. Like, don't get me wrong, Arlong is strong. Maybe he gets slept on a little bit because he was introduced so early, but he was with Fisher Tiger and Jinbei as pirates. He's the strongest in the East Blue. He's stronger than your average fishman. But current Nami, with how strong her like thunder attacks are and everything, and all the stuff she could do with her clean attack, which we'll talk a little later about, but you know, she's durable and she'll be able to hold off Arlong even if he gets an attack in there and like bites her or something. I think she'll be fine. And then if she could just get one attack in there, he's done. He's done. He's donezo. That's it. Arlong over. Her village is freed. If current Nami was back in her village, she's just waxing the Arlong pirates and freeing her village. She doesn't need Luffy and go through that epic scene. She'll walk to Arlong Park herself like dun 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 with her clean attack right on her shoulder. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. She's going to herself and taking out Arlong. So yeah, Nami's strength has been clearly showcased. We also saw this in Zoe, where she blocked off Wanda, who just jumped her pretty much with an attack, and she was able to fend her off. And of course, Minks, natural born fighters from the minute they're born, and Wanda's one of the stronger ones. Of course, she's one of the top fighters of the Mink tribe. And there again, you saw Nami was able to hold her own just hand-to-hand combat against the top Mink fighter. Now with her durability, I think this is something that really gets questioned, because she's never wearing too much clothes or armor. Her outfits are always very skimpy, showing a lot of skin. You know, she's like a small girl. She's not very like strong or anything, so I think a lot of people get worried for her. But she could take damage. If we look at her main fights pre-time skip, first with Alabasta against Miss Doublefinger, this was kind of unexpected because we had the Straw Hats kind of fight people of Baroque Works to their own power level. So you had Zoro against Mr. 1, Sanji against Mr. 2, and then Usopp and Chopper fought Mr. 4 and the mole lady, I forgot her name. But then you had Nami fight Miss Doublefinger, the partner of Mr. 1. We're like, whoa, how is Nami gonna do this? And this whole time she's fighting her, she's trying to figure out her clean attack, how it works, and that Usopp just gave it to her. I don't know why she didn't try that before she went into Alabasta. Maybe they were rushing a little bit, but I think she probably should have looked at the instructions a little bit before the battle started. But, again, just showing her battle wits a little bit, fighting Miss Doublefinger. But Miss Doublefinger was very strong at that point. She could turn everything into spikes, her hair. She's essentially just walking porcupine that walked very weird with her hips swaying side to side, but she was very damaging, right? And Nami got hurt. She got stabbed in the foot. She got, if I remember correctly, got stabbed in the shoulders, and she got really beat up in that battle, but she still used her clean attack to the best of her ability and won that battle. And then she didn't just get knocked out after that. She was still, maybe she was just running on adrenaline, but even during the war, she was running around trying to find a bomb and everything, helping everybody out. It wasn't like she took those damages and just was done so. And then in Eni's lobby, she went against Khalifa, a member of CP0. She was like the weakest, but still CP0, people that regular people just could not take care of, even strong people like the Frankie family and the Galila shipwrights were easily handled by like Khalifa. So Nami, on her own power, was able to beat Khalifa. And she took a lot of damage from her as well. A Shigan right into her shoulder, but she recovered from that and kept going. Even before she fought against Khalifa, she held her own a little bit against Kumadori. I don't think she was able to beat him. She would have been able to beat him back then, but she was still defending herself a little bit before Chopper showed up and took Kumadori off of her. But she was holding her own a little bit. And even Eni's lobby overall, I think, was a way of Oda showing that the Straw Hats have really powered up just through their battles. Nami came crashing in with the sea train into the other building, crashed into rocks and got tossed a bunch of times. But she was fine. She wasn't as durable as like Sanji or Zoro, but it was showing that she could take some hits and really get crashed into a wall and all that kind of stuff, and she'll still be fine. It's not she's a regular human where she just gets tossed to the wall and she just splats and just breaks and just turns into this bunch of mush. It's not like that. I don't know exactly how strength works in One Piece to the point where your physical body starts to harden through battles, but I guess that's how it works. She's been through so many battles where, even a rock, a boulder crashing down upon her, she could kind of survive that somehow. I don't know how it works, but it is shown that it's been proven. She crashed into the wall with the sea train and she was fine. And then post-time skip to really show her physical capabilities and durabilities. We had Punk Hazard, where Sanji was in the body of Nami and he was still able to attack other people. He was able to wreck them through his kicks with Nami's body. So it was proven that she was still agile and strong enough to take these people out. Even he was able to use Blue Walk underwater, and her body was still fine. Of course, she wasn't as her body wasn't as built up against like the other people. He started noticing his stamina started to go down a little bit, but her body was still strong enough for him to use and use his strength with. He even used observation haki, which threw me off a little bit, but then I kind of realized I guess there's soul switch and that's like where haki really comes from. But it was interesting to me. I thought it was like, did he just unlock Nami's observation haki by accident? If so, just have Law switch everybody around, make it work that way, right? But it's not like that. It's coming from the soul and Law switch their souls. But Sanji and Nami's body had no problems fighting people off, and her physical built, despite how slender she is, she's strong. And then finally, just a final note on her stamina. When they were fighting Cracker, she held off Cracker for a few attacks as well. Of course, she wouldn't have beaten Cracker, but she held him off for a little bit. And then she fought 11 hours with Luffy. Now, you might think she's a support role, but still, she had to keep generating things and be mentally focused. So she has a lot of stamina as well. So in terms of her being a glass cannon, she is weaker, right? Physically weaker than a lot of the other Straw Hats. But I don't think if she even goes up against like Smoker, she's getting one-shotted or something crazy like that. She could take hits. All right, she could take some hits and give herself time to really use her knowledge and battle wits to figure out her opponent and use her great offensive capabilities. Now, her offense is definitely way stronger than her defense. I'll tell you that right now. No arguments about that. But in terms of her durability, I just want to sell our girl a little higher. She's not just this slender fan service girl, she's strong as well. But now let's jump to her strength, and that is her offense. And that comes mainly from her clean attack. Now, at its base form, the clean attack came with Heat Ball, Cool Ball, and Thunder Ball, and that's what she really used to create all her attacks with her knowledge of weather. Later on, she turns them into kind of weather eggs and kind of expands her arsenal a little bit, which I'll talk about. But with the Heat Ball, Cool Ball, and Thunder Ball, she's really able to create her attacks, her tempos. So we have rain tempo, which, pre-time skip and everything in the beginning was just her ability to make rain. It became useful against Khalifa because she was able to free herself from that bubble state, but it wasn't really much. Post-time skip, she was really able to make a lot of heavy rain and was kind of able to create mist and fog for kind of disguise, so a little bit extra on the defensive side there. There's also the Heat Ball, which was really used as just support to create like rain and like thunder clouds and all that. But in post-time skip, we saw her ability to attack Monet with it. Now, I don't think it's hot enough to like damage a regular human. Like if she threw like a heat ball at Smoker, he'd be like, what the hell is this? Why are you trying to warm me up? It's not gonna work. Are you trying to seduce me? It's not working, right? But against like ice or snow or any of those Logias, it could be used as some sort of damage. This was actually pointed out by somebody in the comments in my Wano power-ups video where I talked about Nami getting Sea Stone, so she has a way of defense and attack against Logias. I guess the Heat Ball is another way. Maybe other weather elemental attacks could attack Logias, but I would still want to see Nami get Sea Stone in her clean attack. That would be dope. Moving on, Mirage Tempo, another very strong element of her clean attack. When she first used it against Miss Doublefinger, it was just one Mirage to like kind of disguise herself and allow herself to run somewhere else. Against Khalifa, she was able to make multiple. Now, it was all distorted and all that, but she was still able to like make herself seem small and blend herself in. Now, post-time skip, the only element added onto this was that she was pretty much able to make herself invisible and then like kind of show back up and be really as a disguise element and, fitting into her Kunichi role in Wano. Very ninja-like. She could essentially turn invisible. Now, I do think there's more she could do with this that she just has not showcased. Maybe make like a bunch of clones of herself, like perfect clones, none these like short, chubby, or little one, or super tall, lanky ones. Just a bunch of Namis, and she could turn herself invisible to blend herself in. So I think there's more to be added with the Mirage Tempo. There's also, next is the Cyclone Tempo, which was the most OP attack for her base form bootleg clean attack that Usopp made, where she had two birds like wrap around Miss Doublefinger is what took Miss Doublefinger out, like spun around and tossed her. And then when it got upgraded with the perfect clean attack, she was able to kind of launch her clean attack and launch this big gust of wind like a cyclone and hold off Khalifa for a little bit. We haven't seen this attack at all post-time skip, and it being one of the most memorable attacks and one of her stronger attacks, I would think she upgraded it a lot to the point where, we saw Gust Sword was one of her new attacks with her sorcery clean attack where she could kind of just attack with this gust of wind. I would think she could really upgrade her Cyclone tempo to a huge gust of wind, maybe even like a tornado-like attack. Hopefully we'll get to see it in Wano. And then finally, Thunder Tempo, her strongest tempo of attack. At first it was just her ability to combine heat and cool balls to make this the thunder attack, of course the thunder ball as well, to make it the thunder attack. And then with the perfect clean attack, she was able to make them way bigger, but she didn't really have control over it. But she was able to get smart with it, kind of connect thunder clouds and to make like dark thunder clouds to use their thunder lance, which took out Khalifa. She was able to like connect thunder and kind of use it as a close combat attack that way. But post-time skip, she has full control over this. She can make a bunch of thunder clouds, make them way bigger, and she really has absolute control over these thunder clouds. She's able to manipulate it to protect herself as defense or as a close range attack or just a big ranged attack to take out a bunch of fodder or somebody far away. She's really just a sorcerer now. She could just wave that thing like a Harry Potter wand and summon a bunch of clouds. And her thunder attacks are no joke. She took took a bunch of fishermen out on Fishman Island, on Whole Cake Island. A bunch of fodder from Big Mom's crew got taken out easily, and she one-shot Brule with just her regular thunder attack. So, you know, it's a strong thunder attack. Don't underestimate thunder. Now, a couple other things to mention with her sorcery Kleem attack. She also has the Milky Ball to kind of summon the sea clouds, which aren't very strong, but is kind of able to maybe create a little bit of defense. It's also very useful to create like objects to, like, you know, she made that bridge for people to cross on Punk Hazard. So she could definitely get smart with that and kind of like use it as a way of defense or kind of support her own attacks. There's also a weather egg called Yuki Gumo, which she was attempting to use, but she couldn't against Giola because she got turned into a painting. But it was actually revealed, I saw this on the wiki, in Pirate Warriors 3, the One Piece video game. She used that attack, and it's this like huge tornado snowstorm type attack. And I don't know why Oda held that back from us. Maybe it's like he's trying to reveal a Yuki no Mi connection later on. I don't know. But I want to see Nami expand her like weather attacks to be able to use all sorts of weather, like snow, like this Yukigumo weather egg, and maybe even like hail. So Nami could easily have way more weather attacks in her arsenal that we just haven't seen yet. And then of course we got her latest OP power up, which is Zeus. It's a huge damaging attack. Of course, it's a homie made from Big Mom's soul. The attack is so big that when, you know, Pero Sparrow saw that attack in a distance, he was like, oh, that's Big Mom's attack. Like, that's how great and tremendous it is. Now, you know, it is a little OP. I would think Nami wouldn't be able to keep it, especially because Big Mom came to Wano and said, I'm gonna take Zeus back. And I would think Zeus ultimately would be able to be taken back. And of course, if Big Mom gets taken out, I would think Zeus also would get taken out. That's her soul. You know, that there's a connection there, and it just doesn't make sense for Nami to be able to keep Zeus. Her control over Zeus is also like a little iffy. I feel like she has been able to control him a little bit by like feeding him thunderclouds and utilizing him for an attack. But I think there's gonna be moments in the upcoming war where she's trying to use Zeus and he's just not listening, and they're like butting heads, and it becomes problematic for her, and she has to like go back into her own bag of tricks to kind of utilize her own attacks. I do think Zeus could be like a possible, you know, inspiration for her, where she looks at Zeus and how he's created and maybe can strengthen her own attacks a little bit that way post Wano or like during Wano somehow. But yeah, Zeus, major OP upgrade, but I don't think she'll be able to keep it. And then finally, of course, Usopp put the pop greens in her sorcery Kleem attack, where she could like kind of expand it and use it as a bow staff a little more. We didn't see it too much. She attacked Brule with it, but that was pretty much it. In my Wano matchups video, I talked about her getting more hand-to-hand action, and I hope that bow staff gets used a little more, and she could like kind of mix along with her like thunder and everything for more close range combat to kind of call back, you know, her ability as a fighter with a bow staff. Now I think there's more opportunities for Nami to showcase her strength in Wano in terms of future battles. Of course, the number one battle I want to see happen is Ulti versus Nami. I've mentioned this in my Toby Roppo video and my Wano matchups video. Check those out if you want. But pretty much Ulti is this bratty personality, and her dynamic will work really great with Nami, and a way to power scale Nami. I think it's well overdue for all the Straw Hats to get a one-on-one matchup. I think this arc is it for it. Nami beating Ulti would just be epic, and it'd be a really great fight. Maybe she's able to use Zeus a little more. Maybe Zeus stops working for her mid-battle, and she really has to showcase her like battle wits and all that. You know, that was one of the great things about Nami's one-on-one fights pre-time skip, is her figuring out her Kleem attack and the best ways to use it against her opponent, and kind of combining her attacks. And now she's got a huge arsenal of them. Hopefully she reveals a little more of her attacks and really, you know, uses her battle intelligence to string up these attacks and take out Ulti. I think it would be an epic battle to see. Of course, I'm also expecting her to get some other action, like a Big Mom fight, not like completely, but there will be some kind of interaction there with Zeus. Maybe she'll also get a quick Smoothie rematch. Remember, Smoothie like grabbed her in Whole Cake Island, and then when the Vinsmoke saved her, maybe we'll get a quick action between those two. The Oni Wabanshu could also get some quick action against her. Of course, Nami was a female ninja in Wano as a role and with Shinobu, so there could be a quick fight there, but I don't think the Oni Wabanshu are really a match for Nami. If she really fights them seriously, she could just launch a big thunder and just take them out easily, but could be a quick fight there. Now, to how strong is Nami? I want to compare her to a few of the people pre-time skip. I think Pacifista is one of the interesting ones of whether or not Nami could take one out, and ultimately I think so. Now, its strength and laser beams and speed are a problem for Nami, and I think she's durable enough to take a few of those, but you know, if the battle prolongs for too long, it could be a problem. But I think Nami could figure out a way to like defend herself a little bit. Maybe barrage tempo works a little bit against the Pacifistas. She could kind of defend herself a little bit, and once she launches one big thunderbolt against the Pacifista, especially if she has Zeus, I think it's done for it. So I think Nami against a Pacifista, she wins. Nami against Crocodile is interesting. I don't underestimate Crocodile's power, but Crocodile is getting washed against Nami. Why? Because he literally get washed, okay? This man is weak against water. She could just make a big thunderstorm and turn him into a wet bucket of sand. Drop a big thunderbolt on him and he's done. And we talked about Arlong already. He's no matchup against Nami. She's turning him into a Filet-O-Fish sandwich if she fights him again. But the interesting one to me is Rob Lucci. Now, Lucci, I think, if Nami gets a few attacks, good amount of attacks on him, he gets taken out. But at the same time, his will and his physical like durability, I think he could withstand a couple. And if he really drags that battle out, I think he could take Nami out with, you know, his just pure battle strength. So I actually think that's a really good matchup to see. Current Nami versus pre-time skip Rob Lucci. You know, them figuring each other out and Nami trying to defend herself while trying to get an attack on Lucci, and how she would try to like combine her different attacks and what other attacks she has. Now you might be saying you think she could take out Ulti, one of the Tobi Roppo, and you don't think she could take out pre-time skip Rob Lucci. I'm basing this fight off of her current showcase of skills and not her potential. I think potentially in the future she could show us way more and be strong enough to be able to defeat Ulti, but currently with what she's shown so far against Rob Lucci will be a very difficult and interesting fight to see. So I think that's how strong she is from what we've seen so far. A couple other people I thought about, Gecko Moria. He's not that strong, but you know, he has a lot of things at his arsenal with his zombies, and Nami would really have a tough fight with that. Caesar Clown, too much of a scientist with his poison. He could really just take her out with poison pretty easily. And then Doflamingo will wipe Nami. I think Nami is slept on, but she's not going against Doflamingo. I'm not that crazy. But what do you guys think? How strong do you think Nami is? All the matchup I mentioned, like how do you think she would fare against those people? Maybe something I didn't mention. Let me know in the comments below. But as always, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please hit that like button. It helps a lot with the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to keep up to date with when I'm posting, you gotta subscribe, so hit that subscribe button. The last video I made was like a couple days ago. I said we just hit 40 subscribers and now we're over 50 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for subscribing, and you know, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going to our next goal is probably 100. Let's get there. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell as well to join the squad. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. I'm DKing4. Thank you guys once again for watching. I'll see you later. Peace.